What's up, nerds? I am Jake.
I'm Chad.
This week we are sponsored by Ray's Energy Drinks.
We're also sponsored by Crybaby Craig's Hot Sauce.
This week we'll be talking about the new episode of Halo on Paramount Plus.
We're also going to talk about Moon Knight episode 4, now streaming on Disney Plus. Let's get into it. This is the All Things Nerd podcast.
Nerd. Welcome back, nerds, to the All Things Nerd podcast, your weekly dive into all things nerd. So, Jake, how was your week?
My week's been pretty boring. I don't have much to report over here, honestly.
That's fair.
How about you?
Well, I mean, this week was. I mean, it was another week. I had a date on Friday. We're not going to talk about the date, but we did go see The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent with Nick Cage, where he plays Nick Cage.
Yeah.
Honestly, such a great movie. It was so good. Really funny, really enjoyable. Very meta, but they were very aware of how meta it was. So, like, it did not go over the top, but it allowed Nick Cage to be Nick Cage.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah, it was a really good movie. I really
Nice.
enjoyed it.
Good. One of the things that we unfortunately missed last week because it came out after we podcasted or recorded is the trailer for Thor: Love and Thunder
Mm-hmm.
dropped after we had finished recording our episode last week. So that was a bummer. We wanted to record something before we released the episode. We just didn't get a chance to. So we want to talk about it now.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. Oh, fuck.
I mean, where do we start?
I mean,
This
it is. This first trailer is full Taika Waititi.
Yeah. Very funny.
Hilarious.
Looks
Great
fun, yeah.
music, though,
Yeah.
also, as you'd expect from Taika. Oof.
Oof.
Where do you want to start, Jake?
I mean, the first thing I got here is the strongest Avenger scene.
CrossFit Thor. That's how we get Fit
Yeah.
Thor again, no longer
Yeah.
the fat Thor.
While in that scene, he's still fat,
Yeah.
but his arms are huge. And you
But
could just
instead
see him.
of doing
He's
the ropes, they're chains.
like giant chains, like this big around,
Yeah, like a cruise ship anchor chain.
Yeah. But he's wearing a trucker hat that says "Strongest Avenger" on it.
Yeah, and what's funny about it is because they've released what the actual like hat is as merch, and it's like it says Avengers, and then has a little like comic book like sparkly, not sparkly, but like the jagged bubbles. And it's like Thor, Iron Man, Hulk, Black Widow, Ant-Man, which is funny because people think that Ant-Man was like an original Avenger now because of the whole time heist in
Yeah.
in Endgame. But Chris Hemsworth has written over all of them except for Thor and just put strongest and then crossed out the S on the word Avenger, so it just says Avenger. So now his hat just says strongest Avenger. Absolutely hilarious.
One thing, I mean, I know everybody. Oh, well, yeah, never mind. I know everybody knows this already that has seen the trailer or like read about it and stuff like that. But this is what we do, and I want to talk about it. There is a scene where they show Thor like sitting like in the sun, and it's kind of. I feel like it's going to be a direct reference to Loki saying to Thor, the shun, the shun,
The Shun.
the sun will
The
shine
Shun
on
will
us
sign.
again. The sun will shine on us again, brother. And then they kind of it shows Thor in like this like what do you like Zen kind of place where he
It's
doesn't want to be a hero
it's
anymore.
very reminiscent because we see him like burying the base of Stormbreaker in the dirt,
Hmm. Yeah.
and then it shows him like meditating. When he opens his eyes, he does have two blue eyes again. So
Hmm.
maybe he got a new like prosthetic
Yeah.
from his time with the Guardians, which we'll
I
get into
assume
very
so.
quickly
Yeah.
too. But it's also very reminiscent of the end of Infinity War with
Mm.
Thanos. You know, like you see his armor like on the Scarecrow, and he's farming, sitting down to watch the sunset.
Yeah.
A lot
Yeah.
of the same vibe. Like his duties are done. Thank you for giggling at the word duty. I love it.
I'm a grown up. Uh, we get a look at Valkyrie. Uh, since Endgame, New Asgard has become a tourist attraction.
Yeah,
And
like
you see she's in like a suit, and she looks bored out of her fucking mind.
yeah.
Uh,
But you also see like cruise ships like parked in the harbor.
yeah,
Like it's just the newest stop on the
yeah,
Royal Caribbean, or
right.
more likely the Disney cruise. Sorry. But she does look super bored out of her mind, but you know, she's the leader. It almost looks like she's also like talking to a board of like UN
Yeah,
panels and other
I'm
like
get yeah.
diplomats.
I'm guessing that when shit goes down, I'm guessing that Thor, and spoiler alert, Jane Fonda, that was on purpose. Uh,
Create a
uh,
workout video.
yeah.
CrossFit.
Lift that hammer, lift that hammer. Uh,
And one. And two.
I, I,
Sorry.
I assume Valkyrie will be a part of that team. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. But sorry guys. We're dumb.
No.
What are the cooler things in the trailer is, and I specifically wanted to talk about this, is we see Zeus holding a thunderbolt. They don't show his face, but it's I'm Russell Crowe, um, and this is awesome
Singing
for
and
me.
fighting around the world.
Yeah, making movies, writing songs, fighting around the world.
Oh yeah, thank you.
But this is cool for me because one, we know obviously since phase one that Norse mythology is real. Now in with Moon Knight, we know that Egyptian mythology is real, and now with Zeus coming in, we know that Greek mythology is now real too,
Yeah.
which gives us hope and promise for Hercules, because in the comics, Hercules does team up with the Avengers quite a few times.
Do you think it'll be The Rock again?
No. Uh,
That was quick. Okay, cool.
no.
Sorry.
I don't know who I'd want to see in that role, but we got time to talk about that later.
Yeah. Yeah. We're
Um,
not here to speculate on that, but
yeah.
and we also see that even though it's a very quick scene that we see Zeus in, like he's throwing like his lightning bolt around like a chamber.
Mm.
Like
It's like a secret, probably.
He seems like he's a little like cocky.
Oh.
Oh, like this. Oh, I get what you're saying. It took me a second.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, that's fine. That's
Sorry.
just a giant
I'm sorry.
snake.
Oh,
A snake.
I'm sorry.
But we also get to see there's speculation out still whether it's like Olympus or if it is the Council of the Gods that we see both Zeus and Thor and Korg walking around.
Well, we know for sure that the bad guy, the main villain in this movie, is Gore the God Butcher,
Yeah.
played by Christian Bale. And I think it's safe to assume that Zeus is going to get murked.
Yeah,
in this.
probably.
Yeah.
Like
And that'll-
he just
yeah.
wore a red shirt
Yeah.
to this.
I get that reference. But yeah, and then the big cliffhanger of the trailer, we see Jane Fonda suited up. Jane Foster. I'm just being a jerk.
No, it's funny
We
though.
we
Every
see,
time.
we see Jane Foster, aka Natalie Portman, suited up for the first time as
The Mighty Thor.
the mighty Thor. She catches Thor's
Jonathan.
hammer. I was gonna say Thor's hammer and make it gross, but
Maybe that
she
works
catches
too.
she catches Jonathan slash Mjolnir, and it's the broken version of Mjolnir, but it's like put back together.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It looks great. We also know that the Guardians will be in it for some of it. We do get to see Thor like in his Ravager
mm.
outfit. We there's an interaction which is just full of bisexual tensions. You hear that, Chris Pratt? Your character's bisexual. Um, there's some.
He will run through the woods naked and get rid of that thought
I know, but like only if he's listening to.
to gospel music.
Yeah, I was gonna say to some Hillsong covers because I'm pretty sure that's the same church. Either way, he will deny, but there's definitely some bromance beyond. Well, let's go with modern day streaming terminology. There's bromance plus going on there, but it looks like it's going to be funny. I mean,
Yeah.
this entire trailer is riddled with humor throughout.
I think, which is awesome because
it's full Taika. I mean, he does
we know,
Thor
like,
so well.
yeah, and we know like Hemsworth was bored with Thor 2, and so
Because it was not good.
yeah, and that's when they amped up this like funny version of Thor, which is awesome. But
It's
with funny
fitting.
Thor, we get a lot of sad Thor, and I think that trailer 2, because in this trailer they didn't even show the main villain.
Yeah, we don't see Gore yet. We just know that
Yeah.
Christian Bale is playing him.
Yeah. So I'm assuming trailer 2 will be a little more on a serious note. We'll get to see the main villain and get to see a little more. Fuck yeah, you know?
Yeah, and I'm sure that we won't see trailer 2 until at least Multiverse of Madness is in theaters.
Yeah.
So we still have a few weeks for that, if not longer, because the movie comes out in July.
Yeah.
Still looks great though. I'm so excited for it, and it's.
Yeah.
I trust Taika with like
Yeah.
anything that he does, Marvel related or not.
Yeah.
Like-
In Taika we trust.
Yeah, that's really America. Like, just change it to that because in Taika we trust. Anyways, everyone.
Oh, thank God.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I said, oh, thank God.
I know. I heard you. But before we get into the rest of the episode, we do have to tell you about our first sponsor, which is Raise Energy Drinks. You guys have heard us talk about it for ever now.
Over a year now.
Yeah, and still fantastic energy drinks. 0 calories, 0 sugar, 0 crash, and delicious flavors. If that's not your thing, they have so much more than just energy drinks, from protein to pre-workout to cake in a cup, pancake mixes, all of that. Listen up, learn how to save 15%. We'll be right back to talk to you about Halo.
Ew.
What's up, nerds? I wanted to take a minute and talk to you about Raise Energy, an incredible energy drink that provides max energy with 0 crash. Raise Energy takes a giant leap of faith with instilling a high-quality formula to bring a powerful, yet sustained, energetic experience to help you push your workouts and focus to the next level. Perfect for anyone at any time, and powered by their Refresh formula technology, Raise Energy delivers a performance-enhancing energy drink that aids in multiple different categories that include targeted focus, better recovery time, improved clean energy levels, and a boost in stamina and hydration. But most importantly, every can of Raise Energy has absolutely 0 calories, 0 sugar, and 0 carbohydrates to give you a smarter and healthier option. So don't settle for an energy drink that contains more sugar and carbohydrates than you can count. Instead, head over to repsports.com. That's REPPSPORTS.com and use the promo code NERDPODCAST at checkout for 15% off your order. Or if you don't know what you want, go ahead and click the link that's in the description to get a $50 sample pack for free. All you do is you cover the cost of shipping. Again, make sure you use promo code NERDPODCAST at checkout to let them know that we sent you.
All right, friends, we want to talk about Halo episode 5. Is it 5?
I think
6?
it's 5 now because this is like
5.
the middle episode of 9.
We're going to kind of breeze through this one because our next segment, we have a lot to talk about.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but, this is more of the same. It's finally another exciting episode. Since episode 1, we haven't really had like a much happen other than like storytelling, which is, I understand it, but for God's sakes, give us something.
Give us the Halo that we want.
Not the Halo we deserve.
No, because like you would have made like, I don't know, 7 different games if they actually cared about the lore.
Yeah.
I mean, there's plenty of books out there and like whatever. If you guys are interested in the lore of Halo, we do know a guy that is very into the books that we can bring on to talk about it. But what were you going to say?
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
If you haven't watched it, go watch it. Come back.
But as Jake said, I mean, this episode is better. The last 15, 20 minutes is really, really good.
Yeah.
But it's still a 55-minute long episode.
Yeah.
So the first bit is a little bit more of the same of the past 3 or 4 episodes. Well, 3 episodes. But it's good.
There's some cool stuff in the episode prior to the ending. One of the things is Cortana is starting to develop a personality of her own, which is pretty cool. And she's a sassy little thing.
Yeah, it's much more of like the sarcasm that you know from the game.
Yeah, she's not nice. Well,
I mean, she's based off of Halsey, so you have to expect a little bit of how do I put it? It's like
dun 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 dun.
You find a sea hare. Yeah. There's like
leave it at that.
There's a sea hare in the salsa, you know?
Yeah. At some point she inadvertently calls Master Chief stupid, basically. She says that she's like looking in his head for something. I don't remember what it was, and she's just like, not much going on here.
Yeah, and then the main part of this episode is that they found the second artifact at the end of the last episode, and they're trying to extract it, and by doing so they crack like a gemstone that's around it, and Master Chief trying to like get his hands on it just to know more. Because when he touches the main artifact, or the first artifact that they found, he gets more and more of his memories back. And Halsey does not want that, so she's kind of like keeping him away from it.
Yeah.
So he runs to the second artifact, touches it, learns so much more, again through like flashbacks, and is starting to learn the truth about how Halsey like kidnapped the kids that became Spartans and replaced them with
clones,
lookalikes. He doesn't know that they're clones yet, but he's like, you replaced me with something.
Yeah.
And he's filled with rage and like lunges at her to like punch her in the face, and Cortana just like shuts him down. Absolutely hilarious, because he's like, ah! Just like goes limp. Like I've seen cooked spaghetti with more form. What were you gonna say? Because it looks like
Nothing.
you want to make a
Nothing.
joke.
Nope, I don't.
You don't want to talk about whiskey dick?
We get Kai, who also removed her chip. We're moving on from that.
Yeah, of
Uh,
course.
who also removed her implants. Um,
Yeah,
and there's like a moment where she kind of she's excited in her mind, she's like excited to like talk to Master Chief about it. And she's like, I removed my implant too. And he like scolds her for it. Like, why would you do that? And she's like, I did it because you did it. I'm free now. And he's like, you're unfit for duty. Go back to the barracks. And she's like, if I'm unfit, what does that make you? And then Cortana, with that sassiness, is like, well, she's got a point.
yeah. And on top of that, like in part of the episode, we do see some of the interaction of Quan Ha and Soren trying to escape Madrigal, and the bike that they stole at the end of the last episode breaks down, and he's like, "I'm gonna go get us like a new ride," and he like handcuffs her to the bike.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm not leaving. Like, I need to, like, stay here and fight. And he's like, well, you're more valuable with me alive. And she even, like, makes the comment of, like, what kind of pirate are you? And he's like, yeah, whatever, kid.
I think he knows that because he promised Master Chief that John, let's call him John.
Yeah.
He promised John that he would not let anything happen to her, and
Yeah.
I think it's more of like a John will fuck me up if I don't like follow through on this because he shouldn't have taken her
To Madrigal
to
to
that.
begin with.
Yeah, yeah.
And also the last time, oh, my voice cracked again. It's been happening a lot tonight. I guess I'm going through puberty finally. Um, don't mind the beard. Has nothing to do with pubescence. But Soren, last time that he defied John was when they were teenagers and John had a gun to his head and was like, oh, it looks like my gun is jammed. I can't execute this traitor.
You have 5 minutes.
Yeah.
10. I said 5.
Yeah. And so Soren's like trying to keep his word because they still have like huge mutual respect for each other. But Quan is like, I'm going to stay no matter what. She kind of like breaks her restraints off the bike.
Mm-hmm.
And she actually gets the upper hand on Soren for a moment. And he's like on the ground and she like gets his sidearm and is like pointing at him. And that's the last that we see of them in the episode. And then it goes back to Master Chief and the UNSC trying to collect the second artifact. And then the Covenant shows up. And holy shit.
The Covenant is the alien threat in the show.
Yeah, the alien army. Because it's compiled of a few different like alien races.
Yeah.
We've only seen like the elders and the elites.
Yeah.
And we've been hinted at the hunters, but we haven't seen them in full armor. We've only seen the fact that they're kind of like a hive mind of worms.
Wieners.
Yeah. Just fleshy dildos that just murk everyone. But from the games, they're the ones that are just like giant.
Yeah.
In the games, they look like they're very like just overly muscular beings, but it turns out that they're
just super veiny, triumphant bastards.
But in this, we get to see some of the grunts. We see jackals, and it's a lot of. It feels like the Halo that I wanted to see on a TV screen, where you're not just playing a game.
Yeah.
Because Kai took out her implant, as they're being attacked, she still goes out to like do her duty, but she's never experienced fear before. She's never experienced like the trauma of like seeing people die around her. And she panics, she freezes, and she gets the shit kicked out of her. We don't know if she's dead or not, but that's a really terrible time to transition to say, but what's cool about it is they also do it in the first episode, but when one of the Spartans' shields are depleted, they use the same sound effect from the games of like having their shields depleted. And we get to see Master Chief just go fucking ham. Jumps on a Banshee like fighter pilot, crash that into a Phantom like dropship, like so. Oh my god, the 13-year-old me that just loved playing the Halo games was just so happy. I didn't get an Xbox until Halo 2 was already out, so super great.
Yeah.
Absolutely loved it.
Go watch it.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. You get to see other Covenant, and then basically the episode ends with the blonde girl who we really know nothing about except for that she's on the side of the Covenant.
Yeah, she was like kidnapped. Well, yeah, kidnapped by them in episode
She
2
was
or
like
3.
No, she was raised by them.
But
she was kidnapped long before.
Yeah, she was the girl and the little kid, and the kid gets killed, and they take her. They're like, "This is what we're looking for. This is what we're here for." That was her.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
But she's been with the Covenant for years because she, like Master Chief, interacts with the artifacts. So they call her the Blessed One.
Mm-hmm.
And she's trying to get both pieces of the artifact to complete the Halo weapon. And they put her like on a dropship, throw her off the ship because she's now going undercover as a spy. And that's how the episode ends. All I'm hoping for is more episodes like this where if it has a little bit of the backstory.
Yeah, some context.
But the action that you'd expect from something with the Halo name attached to it.
Yeah.
We're halfway through the season, so like I hope it keeps going.
Amp it up.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Sorry to bulldoze through that, Jake, but
no, it was great. No, I'm glad you did. We're gonna talk about our second sponsor, which is Crybaby Craig's hot sauce. It's a pickled habanero and garlic hot sauce that goes on practically anything. Listen up, we'll tell you a little more about it.
Hey, you nerds. Do you love spice? Supporting small businesses? What about enhancing the flavor of your favorite foods? If you said yes to any of those, our good friends over at Crybaby Craig's have the perfect solution for you. Crybaby Craig's is a pickled habanero and garlic hot sauce that goes perfectly with your favorite foods, adding the perfect amount of spice and enhancing the flavor of everything it touches. Started in Minneapolis by Craig back in 2012, Crybaby Craig's has become a Minneapolis and Minnesota staple in the sauce world. So head over to crybabycraigs.com and order yours today. Alrighty, everyone. So this week was episode 4 of Moon Knight. And this show does not disappoint.
No, not even a little bit.
So good.
Yeah. The only thing that's disappointing about it is that there's only 2 episodes left.
Right. I want more. More!
Let me in.
Let me in!
So stupid. Sorry. We're so stupid.
Yeah. We are.
Before we start anything here, spoiler alert. If you haven't watched the episode yet, go check it out. Come back. Please come back.
Please.
We need friends. Anyways, you've had enough time to tune out if need be. So, fucking A, dude. This episode picks up right where episode 3 left off.
Yeah.
Mark / Steven are still unconscious after the whole Khonshu changing the night sky again and getting imprisoned.
Yeah, they're just
Stone.
bodied, if you will. Just full on torsoed. It's like those
And
old like weed commercials with the deflated body.
this is stop.
Cynthia hasn't been the same since she started smoking weed.
Since she started smarted. Since she started smarted.
Yeah, since she's smarted stoking weed. No,
God
sorry.
damn it. Basically, Layla's a. I mean, we just gotta say, Layla's a badass.
Yeah,
Just right out of the gate.
I mean she's been a badass since we were introduced to her, but
Yeah, right out of the gate.
fucking A, man.
Fucking A Cotton.
I sure do like pumpkins.
Yeah, dude, she is just fucking badass. Um, yeah, these dudes, Mark slash Steven, are passed out, and you like bad guys are coming, and so she fucking kicks his ass down a hill, and he rolls
Yeah.
down the hill. It's hilarious.
But with that, though, she does like kind of like leave his limp body out because they're getting shot at from Harrow's people.
Yeah,
But they see his body and they're like, "Oh, this guy's dead."
yeah,
Oh, but there was a second one, and she's like digging through the back of their truck SUV, and like you see some things like through her point of view of the fact that this truck has like open ammunition in the back of it. You know, the gun is not on a swivel that's mounted to the back of the truck, because there's even a part where they spot her but they're not facing her and the guy can't turn. He's like, turn the car around,
turn the whole
around.
car around. Yeah,
Yeah.
stupid.
Yeah. I mean, who would have thought that like mounting a light machine gun to the back of a pickup truck wouldn't give you 360 degrees? Oh, that's right, the rest of Hollywood, but not the real world. But I mean, she proves that she's smart and a badass, just like a badass character, but just a badass chick also. Like,
Yeah.
not to sound sexist by saying that, but like, she kicks ass.
we Here's the thing is we really really appreciate female lead roles that kick ass,
Yeah,
and that's why maybe sometimes we're a little annoyed when they
don't
make like a female lead role that doesn't kick ass, and it's like, ugh, why,
like
you know?
it. You don't need to follow the trope of Hollywood of,
Yeah,
you know, oh, the woman needs help. Like, no, write a
Like-
good character. Like,
Yeah.
give the character their dues, and that's what this show is doing with Layla, and it's
She's-
incredible.
slightly stealing the show a little bit, in my opinion. I don't get
Absolutely.
me wrong, you can't really, because with the multiple personalities, you know, but
But she's
she's slightly stealing the show. It's crazy.
it is no longer Moon Knight versus Ethan Hawke's Arthur Harrow.
Yeah.
Like, she is right there in line with the leads and dominant.
She is. I mean, obviously Mark as Moon Knight has kicked a lot of ass, but like I feel like she's equally kicked ass, and she doesn't have superpowers.
Yeah.
So it's like pretty impressive.
And
I
it's
like it. I
enjoyable.
like her character a lot.
Because it gets to the point where she tricks that same truck that we were just talking about that had to like turn around to like start shooting at her, to the point where she sneaks behind the truck where there's a bunch of open ammo. Again, my voice cracked. I'm so sorry, guys.
Yeah.
And throws a lit flare into the back of the truck, and it explodes so much of the ammo that it kills everyone in the truck.
Yeah.
So
It's
bad
badass. Yeah.
ass. Yeah.
And then there's this part where I'm sorry.
Shut up.
No. Steven wakes back up. They get in the Jeep. They start talking about how Mark is an asshole and blah blah blah, and we get and we get to this part where Steven is conversating with obviously Steven is smitten with Layla, which is hilarious.
Well,
And he's
can
just
you blame him? I
she's
mean,
beautiful. Yeah, she's a
one,
beautiful woman.
beautiful,
Yeah, yeah,
smart, and we just have witnessed over the
yeah,
past 3 episodes that she's been in, kicks ass.
yeah. And he's like, we don't need Mark. And she's like, no, we don't. And he goes, from here on out, it's just you, me, and the open road. And she just slams on the brakes and she's like, all right, from here we're going on foot.
And your friend Steve, do 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 do. Sorry.
It's so funny. It's so funny. But no, they get to the dig site,
Mhm.
Harrow's dig site, and
And they like search for supplies. They get to like the opening of the dig site. No one's around. So they're like, oh, everyone's already down there.
mhm.
And there's a few moments where one Layla is like buckling Steven into his harness so that they can belay down into the tomb. The only reason that I use the term belay, which is to repel, but they say that and she's like, okay, we're gonna have to belay, and he's like, okay, what's a belay? Um, but she like gets in close to like strap him in to his harness, and she's like, oh, you smell like him. He's like, yeah. Why? First off, like, why wouldn't he? Because it's the same guy. But Steven makes a move and like kisses her
And she's for it.
at first, and then she's like, this isn't the same guy though. And there's a little bit of tension there, and you see like Mark and Steven like arguing like in his brain. So I guess you don't see it, but you hear it, and he's like, if you touch her, I will throw us off of a cliff.
This is Marvel's version of Me, Myself, and Irene.
And I'm here for it.
Me, Myself, and Layla.
Me and you and me and your friend Steve. Do-do-do. Oh, I'm gonna make that joke again. Yes, I did.
A couple little things that we breezed over was when they get to the dig site, there's unbeknownst to them because they weren't paying any attention. There's blood everywhere, so some shit went down.
Yeah.
And then there's a moment before Steven kisses Layla where he's arguing with Mark, and Mark's like, "Hey man, this is too dangerous. You don't know what you're doing." Blah blah blah. And Steven's like, "Hey, if I need a recipe for a protein shake, I'll give you a call. Otherwise, leave me alone."
Yeah.
It was funny. And then he goes and kisses her, and
And then the very like next moment is kisses her, and then Layla's like, okay, and then like goes down into the dig site, and you see, how do we refer to them collectively? Just
Steven,
Steven's the one that's
just
in
keep
control.
refer to them as different people.
Yeah, so
Steven is
Steven's in
yeah.
control of the body, but before he like starts to rappel down into the tomb, he like stops himself and then punches himself in the face because Mark is like took
Mark
over for a
punches him.
second to like to punch him for
Yeah.
kissing his wife.
Yeah.
And then the next scene is Layla down in the tomb. She's like, oh my god, this is incredible. And then you just hear Steven, ah, and just like
Yeah.
falls down into the tomb. And
Because Mark
great.
threw him off a cliff.
yeah, he did not lie.
It's funny.
And then as they go into the tomb, I mean, we're gonna skip over some parts as to how like Steven helps them navigate the tombs, but
Mm.
they get into a part of the tomb, and what happens, Jake?
Oh man, I will. So before I start, I
Mhm.
will say that this show has done a couple. Well, one in particular thing. It's been kind of creepy.
Mm-hmm.
And so they get in this tomb, and there's blood, and there's a bit of meaty bits, as Stephen would say.
Yeah, he
On
does say that.
and we get our first look at one of the and no, it hasn't been confirmed or said that they're mummies, but I assume they're mummies. Um,
Yeah,
we get our first like look at a couple. Right? Is it just one mummy? Maybe it's two. No, it's two because he squishes the one.
yeah.
He's like, I squished it, and he runs out. Yeah, I'm working on my Stephen Grant accent. Sorry.
Squished it.
But yeah,
Squish it.
so we get our first look at some mummies, and they're pretty creepy. I'm not
They
gonna
are
lie.
super creepy. My
Yeah.
my first thought, just because of internet rumors that we're gonna get Blade in the show,
Hmm.
I was like, are these like primitive vampires?
Yeah.
And then throughout the scenes with them, I was like, no, they're just
I
they're
wish.
just mummies.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure that the show will get there. It might
Yeah.
just be an end credit scene, like you and I have talked about, but
Yeah. Yeah. We have this show, and then we between now this show with this show being the now and October, we have Doctor Strange, some other stuff. But in October, we get on Disney Plus. We'll talk about this later. I just want to mention it right now since we're talking about vampires. We
yeah,
get Marvel's Werewolf by Night,
yeah,
which will heavily play into werewolves and vampires. So
yeah,
yeah, We've already met Blade, his voice anyway,
yeah.
in Eternals, so we know he's coming. Like coming.
Aw,
Uh,
super gross.
but anyways, back to the show. Yeah, so mummies.
They're they're like zombie mummies.
Yeah, they're not like wrapped in like white cloth. They're like decayed.
They are undead is
Yeah.
what it really comes down to. And they even talk about it in the episode of how it was like the warlocks that were meant to like protect the tomb.
Hmm.
So that's why they weren't mummified, but they're decayed bodies.
There's a particularly gruesome scene where the mummy kills one of Harrow's people and is
Yeah.
like pulling out his organs and like putting them in jars.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, is I was like, Disney? Okay. I see you, Disney.
This is how the episode, or not the episode, but the show in general just earned like the mature rating,
Yeah.
which everyone was shocked that they changed and added that rating because of, like adding Daredevil and stuff like that to the Disney Plus, but like Moon Knight is keeping up with it.
Yeah. And if it like bothers you, just change the settings so your kids can't watch shit like that. But
Or just earmuffs, or just like just one of these things.
that's so when I was a kid and I watched the Indiana Jones movies with my mom, that's I mean literally oh, this part's fucked up. Here, I'm just gonna put my hands right here, and I'm like, no, I want to see, like.
No.
But yeah. Anyways, back to this shit. But what happens with Haro, dude? Sorry, I lingered
So
on that too long.
no, but we do also, before we get to the Haro scene, because it directly ties it into this. Layla and Stephen Mark, like split ways.
Stark.
Stavark.
Stark. Tony's
No,
back.
he's not. But they split ways because there's two different exits out of this area. Stephen squished him, one of the mummies, and Layla is running through the tomb. There's very much like a Tomb Raider or Uncharted-esque scene where she's like
Tomb Raider.
a little bit more Tomb Raider. I mean, if
Absolutely.
you've played like the original like Uncharted games where like you jump to one ledge and it starts to fall, so you have to keep going, sort of thing. I mean, a scene
Yeah.
directly from that.
Hmm.
And she fights a mummy, literally tries to attack her, rips its arm off,
And then tries to stab her with his like bone.
nub and bone crusty. Anyways, once she is safe because she throws him down a pit, because this is Sparta, uh, Arthur Harrow comes out and is like talking to her and tells her more or less that when her father died, that Mark Spector was there. And she's like, "No, that's not true. You're lying." No. And then with her arms freshly cut off from a lightsaber, just jumps down into the pit too.
Stop.
No, no, sorry, I got confused. Because Arthur Harrow turns out to be her father. No, no, none of that happened. But Arthur Harrow does tell her that Mark Spector was there when her father was killed,
Yeah.
and I mean he's still alive. So like, he basically plants the seed that Mark is responsible for her father's death,
More or less, yeah.
more or less.
And then the next scene that we see is her confronting Mark, or sorry, Steven.
Yeah,
When she confronts him, it's Steven.
yeah. She's
Um,
like, I need to talk to Mark. Give me
yeah.
Mark.
And then Steven, "Ugh," and
I mean, this is after he got the stone casting of Amit.
oh God, yeah. We didn't. Oh, we gotta talk about that because he, Steven finds the tomb of Alexander the Great.
And he nerds out about it because he's like, this is all
Yeah,
in Macedonian. There was
yeah.
only one famous Macedonian that considered himself Egyptian and buried
Hmm.
himself in a tomb. And it's Alexander the Great.
And then he just fucking throat pies him and pulls something.
Gross. You're not wrong, though. He,
And
like, DPs the dude's throat. Just
yeah,
straight.
he fists his throat
Yeah.
and pulls
Sorry, Mom.
out, and something comes out with it.
So sorry.
Uh,
Well, I mean, when it's that
our
aggressive,
moms don't listen to this.
when it's that aggressive and there's no lube, something might come out.
Just completely off topic. The funny thing is that both of our moms have legitimately said to us they support this, but they don't listen because we are too fucking graphic. So
To the
like,
point where, like, my mom owns multiple shirts. Like, she has used our web store and like rocks our merch regularly.
but won't listen to the
No, she
podcast.
won't.
My
No.
mom's the same. She's like, I've listened to a couple, but you guys are, you're kind of gross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why we say
Oh,
sorry, Mom.
the sorry moms are just part of the thing, but they don't hear the sorry moms.
Yeah, if they start the episode, they don't get far enough to hear the sorry, Mom. And they don't start the episode because
but
they've
I
learned.
apologize, mom.
Yeah. But Mom, I get it and I'm sorry. I love you. Sorry.
Anyways, after he just like pulls the thing out,
Throat fucks with a fist.
yeah. Jesus Christ, I lost my train of thought. Go.
He Stephen finds the tomb of Amet where they're encast in stone, and Layla comes in and was like, "Is it true?"
Oh, she confronts him. That's right.
Yeah.
And then she's like, I need to talk to Mark. And then and then Mark's there.
Oh, like blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But she confronts Mark about it, and he's like, "I was there. I did
No,
not."
first he says no. First he lies about it. And he's like, no, what are you talking about? Hara was just trying to get in your head. Remember?
Yeah, well, he doesn't say no, but he definitely gaslights her.
Yeah. And then she's like, you're lying, blah blah blah. Like, tell me the truth. And he's like, all right, you got me. I was
But
there.
she's like, I'll explain, but this
Yeah.
is what happened. My partner got greedy, and that's all that we really get. But we also know
But
that like Jake Lockley is coming, so like maybe the
there's a
partner
little
of Jake
more to
Lockley.
it. He's like, my partner got greedy, killed your dad, and I
Right.
also should have died.
Yeah.
He doesn't give the but until what happened. We, as comic lovers and Marvel lovers, know that this is when Khonshu is kind of like Ghost Rider, where like he on your deathbed will make a deal with you,
Yeah.
and that's why Khonshu was able to take over the body. But I don't think Khonshu knew that Mark was a schizo.
Not schizo.
Sorry, associative.
Dissociative identity disorder.
Yeah,
We back when we were growing up, you and I, those were the same things.
okay. Let me not muddy that up because I don't want to offend anybody.
Yeah.
Uh, not a schizo. Sorry, I know somebody who is like that in real life. That's
Okay.
close to me. But we won't talk about it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
No names. No names here for
yeah,
something that intense.
yeah. But so I didn't mean any disrespect by saying schizo. I just meant
Yeah.
yeah. Anyways,
But also when we were teenagers, like schizophrenia and dissociative identity disorder were very muddled and kind of like the same thing.
yeah,
We now know that those are very different things, and sorry if by saying schizo it was offensive, because we know that's not what it is. We know that they're very different. Sorry.
yeah. But towards the end of the episode, the big thing that happens is after Layla has this confrontation with Mark, um, they hear noises coming down the hall, and he's like, "They're here! Get out of here!" And she runs and hides. He pulls out an axe, uh, and it's Haro. They kind of make you think it's going to be like a bunch of like zombie mummies, some
Mm-hmm.
zummies, but
Zummies.
zoomies.
Oh,
um,
you can get a
but
full
it's
skateboard for $55 there.
but it's Haro and his weird group of people, and Mark takes them on, and it does not go well for him.
I mean, he murks a couple of dudes.
He did.
He
He
marks a
did.
couple of guys. Oh,
He did.
and then he get Haro himself shoots him twice, 2 times, 3 times, 2 times,
Twice.
and he falls back
Right.
into yeah,
Right in the ticker.
yeah, just two in the chest,
Yeah.
and he drops back into the little bit of like standing water that's around the tomb, where if you're familiar with mythology, like having water around the tomb is important for passageways. But he falls back into the water. It looks like he's falling into the way that I saw it originally before I realized what was actually going on was that he was like, I know it's Greek mythology to use this terminology, but that he was like dropping into like the river Styx,
Mm.
and that he was going to come into like Hades, or in this case Osiris, the lord of like
Yeah.
the underworld.
I think it's kind of similar, like across the board a little bit,
Hmm.
but yeah. I mean, he basically went to purgatory,
Yeah,
but the Egyptian word for purgatory is duat,
yeah,
and that is this is opinion based. We don't know this. This
yeah.
isn't confirmed. Chad and I just think that's where he is.
It
They
would
are.
make yeah, this would make sense. Um, I've seen a lot of people like, oh, like they're making it seem like it's all in his mind. It's like,
for
Part of it,
reason.
but
Yeah,
not everything up to
yeah,
this point in time was not made up.
yeah. After he gets shot, and he sinks into the water. He wakes up. We're talking about Mark here.
Yeah,
Is it
Mark is
Mark?
the one that's in
Yeah,
control. Yeah.
yeah, and he's in an insane asylum. Um, and they're making it look like everything is in his head. Layla's there. She's also in an insane asylum. There's an action figure
Yeah.
that looks like Moon Knight.
Yeah.
Like he's
Yeah.
basically just making it all up in his head.
Even like the museum worker that was Steven's
Oh yeah.
boss, like the police officers, quote unquote,
Mm,
that
yeah.
arrested
We're
Steven.
like the orderlies. Yeah.
Yeah. And
And
his
then
therapist is supposed to
Haro
be like
is
Haro.
Haro.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there's a part where they Mark, I almost called him Steven. This is hard.
That's what she said.
My
Hmm.
Mark sees Haro's shoes and he's wearing his glass filled loafers or what, oh, I don't know what the fuck you call
They're not quite Birkenstocks,
them.
and they're not quite dad sandals. They're
Yeah.
somewhere in the middle.
They're not New Balances. That's for sure.
Yeah,
But
that's for damn sure. And they're not Chacos, which will just
but
really upset everyone from the
but that
Shang-Chi movie.
but that's what really like snaps him out of the holy shit, am I actually crazy? And he's like, oh shit, no, I'm not. I see your shoes, fucker. Like, I know I'm not crazy.
Yeah.
And he escapes and
Yeah, and it shows Mark running down the halls of like this insane asylum, runs past the door, and there's an Egyptian sarcophagus tomb. Is
you
that
had it. Sarcophagus. You had it
between the
right.
two of them? One of those have to be the right terminology for it.
A tomb is
The
like a big
enclosure,
cement
yeah,
like yeah. Yeah.
yeah, and but someone's yelling inside and like banging on it, and he like opens it, and Steven jumps out. So we get to see Oscar Isaac and Oscar Isaac
Yeah.
as their two different personalities interacting as actual people instead of just like through reflections.
Hmm.
But they like embrace each other.
Yeah.
Like they're starting
Sexually.
to. Oh yeah, there was some tension there. No, but it starts to show that I think that they're starting to understand that even though they share a body, that they're one individuals, but they need the other.
I think that's been
It's been
building the
it
whole season is that,
Yeah, it
you
definitely
know,
has been.
Mark is clearly the fighter and like stuff like that, but Steven has the knowledge and like um
The intellect
intellect.
to
Yeah,
yeah.
thank you. Intellect, yeah. So yeah, like Chad said, they embrace each other rather than, the last time we saw them together. I finger quoted there for people who are listening. He punched himself in the face. So
And threw
now
himself down a cavern.
now that they've seen each other in, we assume, Duat, which is
The purgatory.
purgatory, they have embraced each other.
Yeah.
And while they're running, they
Pass another room that has another sarcophagus. And this one is shaking violently and
yeah,
has
and
yells
also
coming from it.
standing up. It's not on the floor. With
Right.
Steven's sarcophagus was laying on the floor. This sarcophagus is on end.
And it kind of we did not talk about this, but now that you pointed that out, Stevens being on the ground is very much like the submissive personality of like, like with dogs, they lay on their back to like play because they're being submissive. This one is like up and just like ready
Erect,
to
if you will.
if you will.
Extra cheese pickles.
Sweet and sour sauce on my. I stopped that strategically.
Yeah,
But they
no.
stop, they look at it, and they're like, what the fuck? And then they keep going.
And then they leave it. Yeah.
Which is.
But this is also, sorry. No.
Oh, I was just going to say, it's hinting kind of at the Jake Lockley personality, who is like the brutal personality that we kind of got hinted at
Yeah,
through
that's
the
what I was gonna
blackouts
say.
of the past couple episodes,
Yeah.
where both Steve and Mark like, Jesus Christ, why'd you kill that guy? And they're like, I didn't
Yeah.
do that. I didn't do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Uh,
Which could be cool in the I don't know when and if we're gonna see Jake in this season. I hope we do. I assume it'll either be the end of the next episode or like season finale type thing. But I know that in the comics, Jake's costume is a black and white costume, not a white costume. As we know, like they have different outfits for suiting up between different personalities.
I think we might be introduced to Jake Lockley in the next episode, but we might not see him suited up until the end of
Yeah.
the season. But from there, they keep running. They come to like a double door, and it opens, and there's a giant hippo in like cliche, or I mean, still like historically accurate based on what we know of the ancient Egyptians. But it's a giant hippo, like a hippopotamus.
Hippopotamus.
Ow.
Ow.
If you guys don't know what we're talking about, just listen for a second. It'll be there in the background.
Or we could put the link to the song.
I'll probably do that too.
Yeah. Oscar Isaac on Jimmy Fallon sings a children's song that he wrote, right? He wrote it?
I don't know if he might have written it. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure he wrote it, yeah.
But it's like a children's lullaby for his kid.
I don't know. I would call it a lullaby. But
it doesn't seem like it, but...
it's a very aggressive children's song about hippopotamuses being the most dangerous land animal alive. Yeah. But we'll put a link to it. It's it's other than hilarious, it's actually really good.
Yeah, it's catchy. It's been in my head since this episode came out.
And it just makes it so much funnier that at the end of this episode, when they open the door, there is a Egyptian god in the form of a hippopotamus.
And that Egyptian god or goddess, because it's
it's a female.
It's Taret,
yeah.
Which is the Egyptian god of fertility and birth,
rebirth, right? Rebirth.
Well, just birth, rebirth, fertility, just the basically the goddess of life.
Yeah. And we could be wrong about that. If anybody is Egyptian or knows more about Egyptian stuff that we just Googled, correct us, please.
Yeah. But it also makes sense that they would come across this goddess like in purgatory when we're only halfway through the season. So like it makes sense. I mean, we could be very wrong, but and also if we're saying her name wrong, from what I could gather, it's Taret. But there's extra vowels in there. But
yeah, she's basically just like, hey, and they're like, ah!
Comes out like this big, like, gargantuan, like, hippo in Egyptian guard, and then just, like, looks menacing and goes, hi! And they're like, oh, fuck!
Yeah.
And that's where the episode ends. And, again, no end credit scene.
Nope.
We're assuming that it's going to be much like the other shows where maybe next week there will be an end credit scene, but there will at least be one end credit scene in 2 weeks.
Yeah. I assume it'll be the last episode.
Yeah.
My guess. Yeah.
My guess.
But yeah.
Is there anything else you want to talk about with Moon Knight here?
I don't think so. I think with that being said, we're going to close this episode out.
But before we do that, there's just a few things that we want to talk to you guys about.
Go visit. Little buzzed. Go visit our Patreon page. We have some awesome stuff on there. See, I can do the professional part of it. Uh,
Give us your
Chad,
money.
Chad was just giving me shit about before we started recording that he's like, I love that you don't know the script for the Patreon stuff, and you just say, give us your money, and I was like, I can do the thing. I just don't want
The
to.
do it
But
the
yeah,
thing.
go visit our Patreon page. We have behind the scenes stuff on there that you guys can look at, and if you sign up for it, you get to see behind the scenes stuff. You get special merch that other people that are a part of this don't get. But also, give us your money. Uh,
Where's my money, man?
where's my money, man? Where's my money? Uh, no, I realistically, like, if you support what we're doing, uh, you know, throw a fiver in there.
Yeah,
You know,
we
give what
we
you
don't
can.
make money off of this.
Chad and I put our own money into everything we're doing here,
Yeah.
which we don't need your money. We want it.
He's not wrong.
I'm just kidding. No, no, no.
No,
Like,
we're
no,
gonna we're gonna do this either way,
yeah,
and we don't take a paycheck. Our producer doesn't take a paycheck.
nope.
Like at this point in
We
time,
would
like,
love to pay him, but we can't.
and I'm sure he would love to get paid. Uh,
Sorry, Alan.
no,
We're trying.
I mean, we do this because we enjoy it.
Yeah.
But if you also enjoy it, I mean, these are ways that you can support us that helps us get more guests, better guests,
Yeah.
more giveaways, more live streams, stuff like that. So we also have the web store. We've been saying this for weeks, and I've just been lazy about it. It's in the process of getting overhauled. It will be hopefully finished soonish.
Like a month-ish.
Yeah.
I'm moving
Yeah.
next month. Once I move, Chad and I can sit down in person and revamp quite a few things.
Everything.
And
Well,
Yeah.
not everything, because
I said quite a few things.
I know I said everything, and then I was like,
Okay.
that's a lie.
We just gotta, yeah, we gotta. You'll probably probably start hearing us on Spotify and like ads for us for
Yeah.
our podcast. We have ideas,
more
and
live
we're-
streams. We've been talking to a handful of people also for
Yeah.
some really cool interviews that we're excited about.
Not just interviews, collaborations,
collaborations
with other
with
podcasters,
other
and-
channels and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, exciting things happening. Give us your money, but
Yeah.
we love you guys.
Where's my money, man? Uh,
We love you guys. Thank you again for just listening. We honestly don't give a shit about the money. I'm just being a dick.
yeah.
We love
Sorry,
you guys.
I said yeah very quickly about you being like, I'm just a dick. I was like, yeah. No.
We just appreciate you guys coming back week after week and listening to us drunkenly talk shit about everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
No.
there's more to come, and we have things that we're excited to coming that we're excited to share with you guys.
See you next week, guys. This is do I say it or do you say
You
it?
just say it. You already started.
I already did. This is the Third Podcast. Love you guys. Sorry.
Love you.
Sorry, Chad.